everybody, welcome back. It's me, Terry Hunter. I'm an angel therapy practitioner, Reiki master, intuitive guide, and empowerment coach. And it's Thursday, April 26th, and I'm here today to do angel readings for each one of the astrological signs for this coming week. I wanted to let you know, if you don't already know, that we're having a full moon this weekend on Sunday. If you're in the United States, it's either the 29th or the 30th, depending upon where you are in the world. And to pay tribute to this Scorpio full moon, I am wearing my moon glow necklace. I don't know if you can see it, but this is actually by a company that makes these necklaces based on your birthday, and I happen to be born under a full moon. So it looks like a moon. You can't really tell on the video. But anyway, I also wanted to say this about this Scorpio full moon. Scorpio is a water sign, very intuitive sign. If you find this weekend that you're feeling a little, how do I want to put this? Watery, a little fluid, a little zzz, don't be surprised. I've been having some crazy dreams this week. This morning I woke up to this weird dream of a guy riding a horse as if it was, not a horse, it was a dog, as if it was a horse. And when I asked him why he was riding a dog, he got off the dog and he was wearing a kilt, a red plaid kilt. So bizarre. And then I thought in my dream, why am I dreaming this? And then I woke up. So I don't know if it's this full moon or what, but if things seem a little wacky, people seem a little weird, people seem a little stingy maybe even, you know, with the Scorpio moon, just be a little patient. I'm always asking you guys to be patient, but you know, it's a nice ripple effect out there in the world. Okay, so now we're going to do our 4-card spreads for each one of the astrological signs. I'm going to start with Aries as always, because Aries is technically the first sign in the zodiac. It's also my rising sign. Okay, so let's see what Spirit has to say for y'all today. Very interesting. All right, so Aries. In our first position, we have Archangel Gabriel. And basically what Archangel Gabriel is saying is that you have an important life purpose involving communication and the arts. Don't let insecurities hold you back. I really want to say that I think that this is really probably more has to do with the communication aspect, and to allow yourself to communicate authentically and securely with what you have to say, because as you do that, we have Ariel that is telling me that new psychic and spiritual experiences are changing the way you view the world. I want to say this: when we talk about psychic and spiritual experiences, to me, it's very reflective of the way I am thinking, how I am processing, where is my focus. And as I see my focus being in the lane of where I want to go, things start to grow. And then when I go into another lane, the insecure lane, things start to grow that direction. Because in the angel's advice for my Aries, Shanti is here, and she's offering a new era of peace. And that peace is not necessarily outside, in the outside world. It might be on the inside world, feeling more secure about how you're speaking to yourself, the connections you're making, the energy you're putting out for yourself into the material world. Because Rochelle, the final card, says, as you honor and follow the guidance of your heart, prosperity is coming to you. But for me, Rochelle's prosperity is never in the form of just money. Money's easy. Prosperity for me, harmonious wealth, comes where all the facets of my being, my family body, my emotional body, my mental body, my physical body, my financial body, my spiritual body, all these facets that make up me are firing on all cylinders, and I'm feeling balanced because I'm following my heart and the things that I want. So, Aries, for this weekend, during this week, this coming week, give yourselves permission to, in some respects, you know, Aries is ruled by Mars, very action-oriented, very quick. So you might want to sit back, give yourself a moment to absorb the situation as it's coming up, the dynamics as they're there, and then to allow yourself to mindfully communicate how you're feeling from the depths of your heart. And I think that you'll start to see more You know, I want to say this. If there isn't peace reflected in the outside world, you're going to feel better about yourself because of how you showed up for you. Okay, so that interior peace will give you a sense of solace. All right, let's go on to Taurus. Now, this is interesting because we are in the season of Taurus, and this particular full moon is 9 degrees Scorpio and also 9 degrees Taurus. So we'll be 9 degrees into the Taurus cycle. 9 is an interesting number because it's the completion of something in many ways. It's a conclusion on a full moon. So I almost want to say to my Taurus people, what do you want to create moving forward? What do you want to foster in your own life, in your own world right now? All right, so let's see what the angels have to say for my Taurians. Oh my goodness, very interesting. We got 2 of the same cards that we did for Aries. But interestingly enough, Desiree is your first card in the foundational position. And Desiree is a card that says the conditions aren't necessarily favorable right now. And I want to offer you this idea for my Taurus people. With the idea that we're 9 degrees Scorpio in this full moon, 9 degrees Taurus, that there is these conclusions and endings coming in many ways. But for a new beginning, some things have to end. Some things, imbalance has to end. Discontent has to end. I'm not saying that it's going to end forever, but here I have Shanti. We just saw Shanti offering Aries a new era of peace. And I think the same thing is coming for you, because in your angel's advice, I have your guardian angel in the form of Sonia watching over you. And in many respects, Taurus, the things that are coming to conclusion right now, whether they be large aspects in your life or small little aspects, they are offering you an opportunity to open up your world to a bigger dynamic, because here again we have Rochelle. Rochelle was just offering Aries a sense of peace within themselves, a sense of harmonious wealth in all the various aspects of their body. And it's the same thing for Taurus. If you really give Desiree a chance, rather than looking at her and saying, oh no, something crappy's coming my way, maybe that crap is getting flushed out, for lack of a better term, so that real true sense of happiness, the stuff that comes from the interior, happiness never comes to us. It comes from us. So during this next coming week, my Taurus friends, I want to just offer you the idea that if you're feeling at all, a little bunched up, a little frustrated, a little discontent, I want you to think that is ushering out the old, or flushing out the old to usher in the new. All right, so let's go on to Gemini. What do we have going on for Gemini during this full moon weekend? All right, my geez, look at this. All the same cards coming up. So interesting. All right. So for my Geminis, in the foundational position, we have Fiona. Fiona says, now that you've asked God and the angels for help, be open to receiving their guidance. We're seeing a common theme already with these first 3 signs, because so often we want changes in our lives, changes for the better, more money, more happiness, more time, more freedom. And yet sometimes in order for those aspects to come through, we have to allow for a breaking away. So if you want more time, then the job that is sucking all the time from you might go away, or it might lessen in some way. Because what I'm seeing is almost with Geminis is a little bit of conflict between wanting to feel more secure in the material world and wanting to have more time for themselves to take care of themselves. Because interesting, we have Desiree in your opportunity or your obstacle. There are certain conditions that are not favorable right now, and it's sort of time for you to take a bigger look at what you want for yourselves, because the things that Geminis in general are wanting to usher in as at this time, you're going to have to turn this over to God and the angels. You're not going to be able to push your way, think your way, muscle your way, strategize your way, conceptualize your way out of this. I feel like this full moon is asking you all to surrender to your desires and surrender to the path that you don't know how to get there. All you know is you want to be there. So contemplate on what it feels like once you're there, once you've attained the money you're looking for, the resources you're looking for, the relationship you're looking for, the new house you want to live in, whatever the dynamics are. Because right now it seems very clear to me that Geminis will be asked to stand in an unknowing energy. There isn't going to be an answer right now, at least not for this next week. So trust that there's a bigger picture going on, that there are forces outside of yourself that are conspiring to give you the things that you want. All right, let's go on to our Cancers. Let's see what's happening for our Cancers. Now, the first hit I get when I say even your astrological sign is that, again, you Cancers are water signs, and you too may be very sensitive over this full moon, feeling just a little bit more emotional than normal, more vulnerable to the world, I want to say. And I kind of just tuck in, try not to react too much to that dynamic, to know that there's more going on that you can see. All right, and here we have Yvonne in our foundational position. Yvonne is a card of, oh, there's Desiree again. Holy moly. Okay, so Yvonne is interesting because Yvonne will talk about having a way working with animals. To be honest with you, I rarely see it that way. I always see it as being vulnerable to the things that I want and to treating the things that I want with care and the care you would of a small animal or a baby. Being very gentle with that vulnerability, because here we go. Marlena is saying you're confused right now because you don't have enough information. I was feeling that this weekend may be kind of weird this next week for you guys, because it just feels like Cancers are sitting in a very watery, I feel like you're sort of sitting on a float in the ocean, and there's nothing really happening one way or the other. I've got Desiree and the Angel's Advice. This is the third time Desiree has shown up. So I really think that for Cancers right now, Spirit is asking you to be comfortable feeling vulnerable in the unknown place of not being here or there, and knowing that Spirit is protecting you. Whatever you can't see right now, whatever you're wanting to birth into the world, I don't think this week is going to be the week for it. And if it scares you a little bit, that's okay. That's part of the journey. Trust in the bigger outcome, and then turn over those fears, those concerns, the trepidation you have to Spirit. All right, let's go on to our Leos. And I'm going to try to stop hitting the table and shaking the camera around. Sorry, guys. I feel so lucky right now because they've been jackhammering across the street, chiseling out this new hotel they're doing. It's going to be beautiful when they're done. But they just stopped, and I'm feeling like, yay! Hopefully they don't start up again. I think they're all at lunch. All right, Leo, here we go. Wow, okay, so this is really a running theme. I think the Scorpio full moon may be a little more challenging for everybody than even I can anticipate when I'm looking at these cards. The first card I get for Leos is Teresa. And Teresa is a card really of, for me, she's telling me to stop worrying, to give it a rest, to relax a little bit, and to take care of myself. Again, this is a little bit more about self-care. And I'm not necessarily thinking this is to run out and get a pedicure, a manicure, or a massage. This is about the bigger picture of knowing that worry is not going to serve me. Worry is going to put my attention and my intention in the very experience I don't want to have. Because here is Grace and Antoinette. And Grace and Antoinette is a card of compassion. But it's compassion of the other person's point of view, of another person's dynamic. And I kind of feel like if somebody's going nutso in your life and they're acting like the fool and they just make no sense whatsoever, don't try to fix them. Don't try to clarify it. Don't try to make them see your point of view. I think this might be not just an opportunity to let that other party be heard or let the other situation just sit. Because in the angel's advice is Layla. And Layla is a card of meditation. But for me, this is almost like a mobile meditation, getting out into nature, talking about what my true intentions are to spirit, and then allowing spirit to use nature to give me signs and omens that I'm either moving in the right direction or I'm not. Because in the final position, my friends, my Leo friends, is Vanessa. And Vanessa is a card that is really asking you to make your decisions based on faith versus fear, on what you want and what you believe in the depths of yourself versus what you can see in the outside world. We've got a lot of people talking about things that are practical and realistic. And you know what? Reality and practicality are shifting. Every day they're shifting. Our minds are opening up to different dynamics. I was watching Tyler Henry last night, the the Hollywood Medium. And it was so fascinating to me to watch these people as they shut the door and Tyler walked out, and how the ripple effect of what he was leaving, the way he's thinning the veil between here and there. So I guess what I'm trying to say for you Leos is that right now there's a time, this is a time of self-compassion. It's a time of kind of allowing things to wind down a little bit, not expecting a lot of forward motion, and knowing that there is a wisdom to that. And to try to have patience and compassion, not just for yourself, but for those around you, if you find communications maybe a little sketchy. Okay, let's go on to our Virgos. Let's see what Spirit has to say for our Virgos. Hopefully Desiree doesn't show up again. No offense to Desiree, but you know, we're kind of looking for a little bit more levity. I gotta tell you, I feel so lucky right now that it's so quiet outside. It's been crazy all morning here. All right. Virgos. Oh my goodness, this is such a running theme. It's just killing me. I can't even tell you. I've got Bethany in your foundational position. She's definitely a card of self-care. And she talks about getting a manicure, getting a pedicure, taking care of yourself, maybe taking a salt bath to help detoxify yourself. And in this particular case, I have to say, Virgo, it might just be that. To allow yourself to really kind of detoxify yourself from toxic people, toxic foods, toxic environments, because it sounds like there's a lot of you that may be just very frustrated right now with the way things are going. It seems like it's a challenging energy, and I feel in some respects, Virgo, that you're being tugged at, like that people are asking a lot of you, and if they're not, they're intimating that they're asking a lot out of you, because here we have Archangel Gabriel right now in the angel's advice with Archangel Uriel, and I really think that this is about self-talk. It's about self-talk, inner talk, the inner dialogue, and being able to differentiate between what is yours and what is someone else's. Okay, and because I have Vanessa again, she was here with Leo a second ago asking us to make decisions based on faith instead of fear. And sometimes when we are contemplating things, we get a lot of the peanut gallery in our head. You know, this guy will think that about me, and this person will expect that out of me, and that person might be mad at me if I make this decision. But you know what? That's going to put you in the spin cycle, Virgo, because you guys are dependable, and you are practical, and you are, you know, in many ways, you think about the bigger picture about others. And I'm not asking you to be selfish, but I'm asking you to be, in some ways, if you're not happy and if you're not feeding your own soul, can you really feed the soul of others? So I think that this is what Spirit is saying to you today, and for the coming week. And again, I just want to kind of reiterate this whole full moon, the 9 degrees Scorpio, 9 degrees Taurus, a lot of things may be coming to a sort of an end. But that doesn't mean that they'll blow out of your life. It just means that there's the potential for the disruptive energies to come into balance. And therefore, that creates an ending that gives life to a new beginning. All right, let's go on to Libra, my sun sign, although I feel I'm so much more Aries. And anybody who knows me would probably agree with that. All right, Libras. Boy, Desiree is making herself known today. This is going to be a challenging weekend, I think, for everybody with this full moon, to be honest with you. Okay, Libra, so the first position I get was Yvonne. And Yvonne, again, I will repeat, is a card of vulnerability for me. Yes, she does talk about having a way with animals. And of course, there's always those people that vet techs, people that work with animals and rescues. But this is really, for me, about vulnerability. And with this weekend being so watery with the Scorpio, up against Taurus, if you think about it, Taurus, being under the sun sign of Taurus, it's a very stable, very grounded energy, whereas the Scorpio energy is very watery. So to me, there's this little bit of disconnect. And what Spirit is saying is to keep charging ahead. Mystique is saying charge ahead, expect miraculous solutions. And in this respect, having the innocence of a child in the angel's advice. May have something to do with your children, but I'm not thinking so. I'm thinking as when I talk about astrological signs as a whole, as a collective, I really think when I see children cards, it has more to do with the inner child. And in this particular case, Rosetta is talking about teaching. For me, I'm seeing that there is the potential that Libras over this next week, over this weekend, have the opportunity to learn how to be strong and feel protected and safe while everything around them seems to be a little disruptive, because Desiree showed up again. And, she's just been saying for almost every sign that conditions aren't necessarily favorable. And that means they're not necessarily favorable for moving forward, for feeling accomplished, for feeling necessarily productive in this moment. I feel like it's more about allowing us to feel, getting comfortable with being in that in-between space, between here and there, between the beginning of an idea and the manifestation of an idea, whatever genre that idea is coming in. So Libras, I want to offer you this idea as well. If you're feeling especially vulnerable and especially, I almost want to say it's almost like there isn't a protective shell around you this weekend. There's a bit of an illusion going on here. There's a bit of an illusion of that vulnerability. So I want you to sort of be able to stand in it, to feel it, and not be pulled under by it. Okay? Ask the angels to comfort you, to guide you, to give you signs that you are closer to your manifestation, to what it is you want, to even just being a more calm energy at work. Something as simple as that. All right, guys, we'll go on to Scorpio, and it's your full moon. Let's see what the Spirit has to say for you. The first thing I get as I'm shuffling is communication, Scorpios, this weekend. Being mindful of your own communication, how you're expressing yourself. Let's see what Spirit has to say about that. Very funny. So the first card that comes up is Archangel Gabriel, and she talks about having a way, an important life's purpose that involves communication. Now, I want to say this, because Scorpio, you're extremely intuitive, and in many ways, sometimes you can see into a person's character in a way that can be for the good or for the bad. And I say bad because being mindful of how you communicate is going to be more productive for you. Always telling somebody what you know or what you're feeling, is it going to serve you? And I'm going like this, okay? I mean, like, if somebody's pissing you off or somebody's annoying you, is it really going to serve you to say, hey, you're pissing me off? Or maybe is there a better way to express yourself, to communicate that with a more mutually empowering dynamic. Because in your opportunity, your obstacle is Ray. And Ray is a card of yoga, that's what she says. But for me, I've always noticed that she sits in a meditative position. She has in the middle of her third eye is the color yellow, which represents my power chakra. And then that's flanked by the green stripe and then the blue stripe. So to me, this is always a card that talks about being my most powerful and effective communication comes as I connect with spirit and lovingly express the deepest of truths. But lovingly express it. When I lovingly express, it's not making somebody wrong so I can be right. It's finding common ground. Because as you do that, I think you're going to find that you'll be much more productive in your communication. This is Ariel. Ariel is talking about have new psychic experiences changing the way you view the world. But when I say psychic, I don't necessarily mean like predicting the future. I mean it as an energy that is connecting with spirit. This is all about how Scorpio communicates. Because Crystal is saying, have faith and hope. There's more on the horizon that you can't see. And as you are gentle and open in your communication with those around you, what I feel is you're going to foster open and gentle communication back. So I really want to offer that. That seems kind of exciting to me. And for once, Desiree did not show up. So Scorpio, this will be a better moon for you than maybe some of the others. All right, let's go on to Sagittarius. All right. All right, Sagittarius. This looks kind of fun. Wow. So the first card that you got was Chantal, and Chantal talks about romance. Straight up romance, either with a newcomer or with the resurgence of a relationship that you're already in. I think this is very exciting. And, you know, when I think about Scorpios are very sensual people, very sensual sign overall. And here's Rochelle in your opportunity or your obstacle saying, as you follow the guidance of your heart, prosperity is coming to you. And, you know, I always think that prosperity is not about money. It's about feeling balanced and thriving in all the areas of my body. And when I look at this with Chantal in the foundational position, I think Rochelle is saying, be you. If indeed this is a new romance, just be you. Just let your light shine. Don't worry about how the other person is perceiving you. You know, oftentimes when we have been by ourselves for a while, single, not dating, we see someone we like, finally, after a dry spell, we get kind of more invested in how they view us than how we're viewing them. We get a little invested in what our eyes see and the candy that we want to eat. I want to kind of pull back on that, Sagittarius, and I want to say, you know, that's fun too, but I think this is time to give birth to new ideas and new situations. And what I mean by that is that I think that Chantal, while she may be offering romance from another person, as you allow yourself to sort of be in love with yourself when you fall in love, and you allow yourself to shine that light, like Rochelle says, I think that is where you'll see a new beginning in the form of your excitement for yourself, your excitement for your future, for what you're fostering in the world will be contagious to those around you. So I feel like not only could you have the potential of meeting a new person or having this resurgence in your romance, it feels like a domino effect of falling deeper and more in love with yourself as you allow yourself to follow the things that you want in your life. So let's just say, for instance, you're an artist and you have been working in one type of medium. Let's say it's oils, and you decide to venture into charcoals for some reason, black and white, something new, and you get so excited about what you've created. To me, that is a ripple effect that creates more romance in the outside world. So it's kind of twofold, and this is kind of fun because these first few readings were rough for those signs, but Sagittarius, this looks like fun. So allow this new moon in Scorpio to let yourself not only feel romance in a traditional sense, but almost feeling romance with everything in your life. Romance with food, romance with your home, romance with your pillows on your couch. Whatever makes you feel sensual and alive and vibrant. Okay, let's go on to Capricorn. It's kind of weird right now. I have to tell you, I feel like I'm having an out-of-body experience because every word that comes out of my mouth feels as if I'm chasing it, because I really feel like I'm channeling in a big way today. I'm not really retaining anything I'm saying, so it'll be interesting to watch this video over again. All right, Capricorns. Okay. All right. Capricorn, the first card we get is Rochelle. And Rochelle talks about, as you honor and follow the guidance of your heart, prosperity is coming to you. I never think of that as money. Always think of that as harmonious wealth. There is Archangel Raphael. And here is Shanti. So there is a healing to be had and a new sense of peace to be had. You know, Capricorn is an earth sign. You know, you're ruled by the goat. You're ruled by Saturn. Saturn is a very dutiful, a very diligent, a very strategic, in some ways militant energy. Not militant and warring, just discipline, you know, boot campy. And I think what Spirit is saying for you here is to actually allow a little bit of that energy to subside and to go more into that fluid energy of the heart, okay? Because the final card is Oceana, asking you to take action, to lovingly assert yourself towards the things that you want. And what I think that some of the things that Capricorns may want may not feel so practical right now, or may not feel like the timing is right for them. I'm not telling you to run out and buy that new car that you want, unless you can afford it, of course. But I do think it's time to start to give life to the bigger things that you want, the things that are a little more frivolous in thought, is the way I want to put it. I don't know if they're actually frivolous things you want, but they may feel frivolous, as if, well, I don't need that. Well, so what if you don't need it? If you want it, get it. I think it's time for Capricorn to follow their heart a little bit more and to assert themselves that way. Throw that practicality out the window a little bit. See what happens. All right, let's go on to Aquarius. Did I miss somebody? No? Okay. Telling you, as we come up to that full moon, I can really feel it. It's really kind of getting me a little blah, blah, blah. All right. All right, Aquarius. In our foundational position, we have Merlina. Merlina is saying that you're confused because you don't have enough information, and to seek expert advice and help to get the information you need. Interesting here, because we also have Fiona in your opportunity or obstacle asking for help. And then I have Opal in the Angel's Advice, and finally Serena. And that's about money. But this is what I want to say for you, Aquarius, because as I look at this spread, years ago, I was looking for a dentist. And I have issues with the dentist because I just do. You know, I just always feel like it's always going to be bad news. And I got a recommendation from a friend, and I didn't like the dentist. He was really kind of scary and very doctory. So I started to go to Spirit and ask Spirit to bring to me the exact right person who would be able to appease my fears, make me feel seen in their professional capacity. And I ended up finding a wonderful dentist. He's an awesome guy. He really cares about me. And whenever I go into his office, I always feel like they see me. I'm not just a number. So this is what I'm looking for. This is what I think Spirit is saying for you, Aquarius, is that some of the things that you may be seeking out, in the way of to create in the material world, I really kind of feel like the research that Merlina is asking you to do is not necessarily out in the world exclusively. So you want to do some research about the things that you want, and then go to Spirit and sort of ask Spirit to confirm to you what would be most beneficial for you. When I look at this is the inner child, especially when it comes up in the angel's advice. It doesn't ever feel like children outside of myself. It's like knowing that Spirit is leading you to the perfect dynamic and the perfect people and the perfect situation to give you the abundance that you want. For me, when I found my dentist, I felt so blessed that he was there, that the way that his whole office showed up for me. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because the doctor's a very structured thing for me. There's certain, when you go into the medical community, there seems to be quite a bit of structure there. So the way that he showed up for me was very unexpected in his professional capacity. So I feel like Spirit is saying that those of you that need help from professionals in some ways, yes, do your research as to the dynamics of their profession and what you want, but also then go to Spirit and have them confirm for you what would actually be the best person for you, and then wait for the answer. Okay, let's go on finally to our Pisces. I always like to say my little lucky is a Pisces. I was thinking about yesterday, he was born on the last day of winter, which has really ushered in a new spring in my life. So blessed to have him. All right, Pisces. I don't know if you guys can hear, they started doing something over there. Oh. All right, for my Pisces people, this is fun. So we have in the foundational position is Serena. And Serena is a card of abundance, straight up money. And she says God is in charge of how that money is going to show up. And it's interesting to me because the next card is Adriana. And Adriana is saying that I'm leading you towards the answers to your prayers. Listen to your dreams, your thoughts, your intuitions. Daniel in the angel's advice is the angel of marriage, partnership. But the deep root of what he talks about is the experiences that you've had that have led up to that partnership. Oftentimes, most of us have been heartbroken on our road to finding our partners. We've loved people and lost people, and we've broken up with people and people have broken up with us. My point here is I think that what Daniel was talking about is the reconciliation of those experiences and being able to wipe the slate clean. So let me back up a little bit here, because what I think this is talking about is your relationship with money, Pisces. I think that Serena is talking about your struggle with money. God's in charge of how you will get that, and you've got to start to trust that. And as you reconcile that experience and marry yourself to the idea that you are being protected, you will have a new era of peace coming in for you. And the peace, again, is never an outside job. It's an inside job. It's knowing that as you put that focus in on the abundance is coming to me, all the resources I need, all the clients I need, whatever your specific scenario is, as you open to the idea that you're not the only one creating your life. You are putting an intention out there, but you're working within a system, and Spirit is there to help you. And Spirit gives you the signs and the omens when you pay attention. Now, this is the other thing about you, Pisces, because you guys are very, very sensitive. So sometimes when you're reconciling the road to get there, meaning wherever there is, the money you want, the relationship you want, there's a part of you that will have to surrender to what has been and give life to something new. And it may be for a lot of you things that you haven't experienced before. You may be calling forth a period of financial flow, of wanting just to have the ease of knowing that what you need is coming in, and what you're asking for is evidence of that. Keep your eye on the prize. Keep your arms open in reception. of the things that you need. All right, guys, I think that wraps it up for this week. These are your angel readings. Again, my name is Terry Hunter. I'm an angel therapy practitioner, and you can learn more about me on my website, www.terryhunter.com. That's TERIHUNTER.com. And feel free to contact me to book a private session. You can do that through my website. You can also do that by calling or texting me. The information is below. All right, guys, I'll see you on Monday with our Brave Heart Meditation Challenge for the week. Have a great weekend. Enjoy this full moon. And remember, it is a full moon in Scorpio, so be gentle in case people are a little stingy. All right, bye.